Have you ever looked up at the stars on a clear night and wondered, how did it all begin? Not just the universe, but us, life. What was the spark that ignited the very first living thing on our planet, turning a barren rock into the vibrant, teeming world we know today? It's one of the biggest questions humanity has ever asked, and today we're diving deep into the science, the theories, and the sheer cosmic chance that led to you and me. Let's rewind the clock. Way back, about 4.5 billion years ago, our Earth was a chaotic and hostile place. Imagine a planet bombarded by asteroids, with erupting volcanoes spewing gases into a toxic atmosphere, and oceans that were a scorching, chemical-filled soup. It doesn't sound very inviting, does it? Yet somewhere, in this primordial chaos, the most incredible event in our planet's history was about to unfold. Scientists believe that for life to begin, you need a few key ingredients. Think of it like a cosmic recipe. First, you need basic building blocks, simple organic molecules. These are molecules containing carbon like amino acids, which are the components of proteins, and nucleotides, which make up DNA and RNA. But where did these building blocks come from? One leading idea is the primordial soup theory. Picture this: Earth's early oceans were a warm, shallow broth. Lightning strikes, intense ultraviolet radiation from the sun, and heat from volcanic vents provided the energy. This energy zapped the simple chemicals already present in the water and atmosphere, things like methane, ammonia, and water vapor, and rearranged them into more complex organic molecules. This isn't just a wild guess. In 1952, two scientists, Stanley Miller and Harold Urey, decided to test this. They built a closed system with flasks and tubes, recreating the conditions of early Earth. They filled it with the suspected gases, added water to simulate the ocean, and sent electric sparks through it to mimic lightning. After just 1 week, they analyzed the water and found something astonishing. It was teeming with amino acids, the building blocks of life. The Miller-Urey experiment was a landmark moment, proving that the basic components of life could indeed form spontaneously from non-living matter under the right conditions. But a soup full of amino acids isn't life, it's just ingredients. The next crucial step is getting these simple molecules to link together into more complex structures, like proteins and nucleic acids. How did that happen? This is where another fascinating theory comes into play: hydrothermal vents. Deep on the ocean floor, there are cracks in the Earth's crust where superheated mineral-rich water gushes out. These are hydrothermal vents. Think of them as underwater volcanoes. They create a unique environment with steep chemical and temperature gradients. Some scientists propose that the porous, mineral-rich surfaces of these vents acted like tiny factories. The flow of chemicals through these mineral chambers could have concentrated the simple organic molecules and provided the perfect catalytic surfaces to help them link together, forming long chains called polymers. It's like a natural assembly line for the molecules of life. These vents would have also offered protection from the harsh UV radiation on the surface. So now we have complex molecules, but we're still missing something fundamental: a way to store information and replicate. This is where RNA comes in. In our bodies, DNA is the master blueprint, and RNA acts as the messenger, carrying instructions to build proteins. But DNA is complex and needs a lot of help from proteins to replicate. RNA, on the other hand, is a bit of a multitasker. This leads us to the RNA world hypothesis. This theory suggests that before DNA and proteins, life was based on RNA. Why? Because RNA can do two critical jobs. It can store genetic information, just like DNA, and it can also act as an enzyme molecule that catalyzes chemical reactions, a role usually played by proteins. Scientists call these catalytic RNA molecules ribozymes. So, in this RNA world, self-replicating RNA molecules could have existed. They could have made copies of themselves, albeit imperfectly. These imperfections, or mutations, would lead to variety. Some RNA strands might be better at replicating or more stable than others. Natural selection would have kicked in, favoring the most efficient replicators over millions of years. This process could have led to more complex and stable systems. RNA was both the blueprint and the builder, all in one. But a self-replicating molecule floating around in the ocean is still not a cell. To be considered truly alive, you need a boundary, something to separate the inside from the outside. You need a cell membrane. This brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the first protocells. The key components of cell membranes are lipids, fatty molecules that don't mix with water. It turns out that lipids, just like amino acids, can also form spontaneously when you put lipids in water. They naturally arrange themselves into tiny spheres called micelles or vesicles. This is because one end of the lipid molecule is attracted to water, and the other end is repelled by it. By forming a sphere, they can hide their water-hating tails on the inside, creating a tiny, self-contained bubble. Imagine one of these lipid bubbles accidentally trapping some of that self-replicating RNA and other useful molecules inside. Suddenly, you have a protocell. This simple membrane would have kept all the important life-giving chemistry concentrated in one place, protected from the outside world. It would have created a stable internal environment, a tiny little laboratory where the chemistry of life could become more refined and efficient. This was the birth of the first cell, the ancestor of every living thing on Earth, including you. From there, evolution took the driver's seat. These simple protocells would have continued to compete and evolve. Eventually, the more stable and efficient DNA would take over the job of storing genetic information, and proteins, which are far more versatile catalysts than RNA, would take over the bulk of the cellular machinery. RNA was relegated to its modern-day role as the intermediary. This transition from the RNA world to the DNA protein world led to the last universal common ancestor, or LUCA, from which all three domains of life, bacteria, archaea, and eukaryotes, diverged. Isn't that incredible? To think that from a chaotic, lifeless planet, through a series of chemical reactions in a primordial soup, perhaps at the bottom of the ocean, a simple molecule learned to copy itself. It then wrapped itself in a bubble of fat, and over billions of years of evolution, gave rise to the breathtaking diversity of life we see today. From the smallest bacterium to the largest blue whale, we all share this common, humble origin. The search for the origin of life is far from over. Scientists are still exploring different possibilities, from life arriving on meteorites to other chemical pathways. But each discovery, each experiment, brings us a little closer to understanding our deepest roots. It connects us not just to every living thing on this planet, but to the fundamental chemistry of the cosmos itself. We are, quite literally, stardust that learned to live. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back to the dawn of life. If you found this as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button. And do UNT forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you do UNT miss our next deep dive into the wonders of science. What other big questions do you want us to explore? Let me know in the comments below. See you next time.